Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Andrew. This video is a continuation on my commentary and review of the documentary Earthlings, released in 2005. It is a fantastic documentary, and I think that every single human being on Earth should watch that documentary at some point of their lives. It is very important to spread awareness and that information that is included in that film. Even though I've watched this documentary, and even though I am fully aware of a lot of these practices, I do still eat meat. I know a lot of vegans and a lot of animal rights activists can't understand why I still hold those opinions. I get that. I just have made slightly different conclusions than you have based on the evidence of this film and other films like it. I think we can agree on okay, I watched this video and I agreed with at least 95 to 97% of it. Most of it I would nitpick a little bit. I would say that there's a little bit more nuance to a lot of things than was in this video. I think this video wanted to make it more black and white than it is. I don't actually believe that anything is black or white. It's some shade of gray. And there is a lot of nuance that comes in a lot of the topics discussed in this video. So I still eat meat. So I wanted to talk about my best case scenario of what I would eat and where I would get it. And this is, again, best case scenario. This is like no limitations. I assume that I've made a significant amount of money in my life at this point, and so this is what I would do. I would basically I'm just going to assume I have unlimited resource. Obviously that's not likely. I don't think this scenario will happen, unfortunately, in my lifetime. I will probably never have enough resources in order for this to happen. I would love for it to happen, but I don't think it will. I guess I need to marry a rich woman or win the lottery. And unfortunately, I'm a realist, so neither of those things are likely. So there you go. My best case scenario. I would live on a farm. It would be a smaller to a medium-sized farm, I think. I don't need a giant farm by any means. I'm just one person. I'm assuming in this scenario that I'm just the one person. I don't have a significant other at this point. I'm not really looking for a significant other at this point. I'm just living my life. I'm kind of, this is a video for another day, but I see the stupid games that are being played in the dating world these days, and I'm very much of the opinion that play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So I'm just stepping away from all of that. If something, falls into my lap, or if there's an opportunity, I'm not going to say no to it, but that being said, right now I'm not really looking. Okay, so I'm one person, I own a farm. I would have 3 sections to this farm. Now, this is a general idea. I don't know research. I would have to do a lot of research if I ever was to do this. There would have to be a lot of research that goes into what I'm thinking about doing, or what I would love to do. So, the first section of my farm is for cattle, meat cattle. I would have a small herd. I don't know how many animals that would be. It wouldn't need to be high. I would need to know things like, because herd animals feel better when they're in certain numbers. So what's like the smallest number I could do where they would feel okay, but also have enough room that there would be lots of room for them. I would have them completely free range. I would have most of the farm for them so that they could move around in that area. I would obviously build some shelters, multiple shelters in fact, to help insulate them from the elements. I do live in Canada, so it can get very cold here, especially in the winter time. So I would absolutely shield them from those elements, and I would have them in multiple locations, not just one, so that if they're like caught in one section of the farm, then they can get into that shelter, instead of having to move all the way to the other side of the farm to get in the shelter. So free range, they can eat as much grass as they want. I would also feed them a high nutrient-rich diet. And these are cows that I would kill and eat. That would be their purpose. I would kill them as humanely and quickly as possible, and I would interact with them on a daily basis. I would try to keep them. Beef cows, if you don't know, are generally less tame than like dairy are because they're handled less. They tend to live. They tend to be left to their own devices. Unfortunately, the problem with that, in my opinion, is then that if you ever have to deal with them, then it's automatically more stress. So I would try to keep them as domesticated as possible. Even though they would have significant range, I would be dealing with them on a daily basis, ensuring that that is something that they are comfortable with. Now, if you were to kill and slaughter a meat cow, there is more than enough meat on a meat cow for one person to eat over more than a year. But let's say a year. Let's just make it easy and say a year. That meat cow would last me a year. So I wouldn't have to do a lot of breeding for these meat cows. I would maybe replace the one or two that are lost. It would be like one a year at most. And I would breed them. I generally wouldn't kill the younger cows. Obviously, there's the issue of male cows and bulls and stuff like that. I'd have to figure out exactly how to deal with that. I might just keep females and artificially breed them. I don't know. Again, this is just a base idea, and I would have to do a lot more research if I could ever actually do this. Not that I think I ever will. So I would kill the older cows. I would let them have a decent life. I wouldn't even kill the cow in front of the other cows. I would lead the cow away behind the barn or behind the house and then kill it. For the first couple of years, I would get a butcher over to try and to teach me how to process and slaughter a cow, and then after that, I would do it myself. And that would be my main source of meat. Section of my farm number 2 is for chickens, not for meat. I actually, I will eat chicken. I do eat chicken. I eat much more cow than I eat chicken. When I eat cow, it just seems to fill me more. I know that that's not true because generally chicken has more protein per gram than cow does. It's just something in my head that it's red meat and it's silly, but it is what it is. So I would have the chickens for eggs specifically, and the eggs. Oh, there's a little kid crying in the hallway, so I apologize if you can hear it. I would have the chickens for eggs. They wouldn't be. I mean, they would be free range, but they wouldn't be free range in a way. I would have them in an enclosure, but the enclosure would be so big that most people would consider it free range. I think they do need some protection from certain animals that might try to hunt them. Again, I would have multiple shelters in that area for them to go in, and it would be their choice whether they go in them or not. And again, I would feed them high quality animal food. I don't know how many chickens I would have. It wouldn't have to be a lot because I only need a couple eggs, and I don't even have eggs every day. So I would do that. If a chicken stops laying an egg for whatever reason, I wouldn't kill it just based on that fact. I would let it live out its life. Only when it becomes old and is soon about to die anyway would I probably end its life and then use it for meat. I would just replace that chicken with another chicken. If it stops laying its eggs, I wouldn't kill it then. A lot of farms, they kill a chicken as soon as the chicken stops producing eggs because it's no longer worth it for them to pay the money to feed it. I'm not worried about that. I should say, because I forgot to say at the beginning, none of the produce or animals or products I raise would ever be meant to be sold. They're only for my sustenance. So I'm not trying to make a profit off of this. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm honestly looking out for my animals' well-being. If the vet needs to come, the vet needs to come. I will feed them the best quality food that I can get. I will pay a lot of money to do this, but in my opinion, it's worth it. I would even provide enrichment things for cows, like scratchers and even certain. I've watched videos of cows playing with certain swinging toys and stuff, and it's hilarious to see, and it keeps the cow entertained. So why not do it? Well, it costs money, and so most farms won't do it because it's not worth the money. I don't care about the money in this scenario. So that's what I would do. Again, I would have to research the number of chickens I would need and so on and so forth. But just as a general idea, that's what I would have. Okay, third part of my farm. Third part of my farm would be for growing vegetables, essentially. Growing produce. I would grow what I can. I am limited because I live in Canada, although the soil is actually fairly rich in my area. Not as rich as in some parts of Ontario. I may be giving a little bit away when I say all of this as to where I live, but you can grow a decent array of crops and produce and vegetables, and that's what I would do, and I would use those to eat as well. In best case scenario, 100% of my food would be that I consume would be either would be raised on my farm, whether that being the animals, the eggs, or the produce. Is it likely that that would be able to happen? Maybe, probably not. I would probably have to I would have to go to the grocery store for some things, probably. I like using spices and stuff like that with my food, so I would obviously have to get those. And I wouldn't be growing vegetables more than likely, or not vegetables, sorry. I wouldn't be growing fruit. So if I wanted like apples or oranges or something like that, I would obviously have to go to a grocery store and get those as well as like bananas or whatever other fruit. I keep saying vegetable, whatever other fruit I would want to eat. Yeah, that would be my farm. At the same time, I would want to be as off the grid as possible. So I would actually try to, as many ways as possible, create my own energy, whether that be solar panels, wind turbines, geothermal heating, whatever it is. I would try to be as off the grid as possible. That's a story for another video as well, but I would like to be as removed from society as possible. I could go into society when I wanted to, but I would spend most of my time on that farm, truth be told. I am a natural introvert. I would love to have people to my farm. I would love to include people in the process, but I think that would be the best case scenario for me when it comes to my food and what I would eat. Interestingly, I will say this, I am a person that is okay with having the same meal basically every day of my life. It's nice to have variation every now and again. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't go into town at some point, the nearest town, and buy a pizza. It's nice to get a treat every now and again. I'm not saying that. But for the most case, I am okay with honestly having the same meal every day. So I have food sensitivities. There are things in processed food, and we're not entirely sure what it is. There are a couple suspects in mind, but we're not sure. I have issues with. We think it's either certain preservatives or possibly dyes or other chemicals that they put in the food. Basically, most times if I eat something from a box, all of my joints start to swell in my body. Not significantly, but just enough that where it's painful. And so every joint in my body then starts to hurt. And for about 2 to 3 days afterwards, I'm in pain. So I've stopped eating most processed foods. Obviously, there's some processing that's going to happen to every single food. I'm aware of that. That being said, it's different from getting like your raw vegetables, your raw meat, and making everything from scratch than it is from then buying something from a box. Because of my diet change, being forced to, it's actually caused some very positive side effects. It helped me lose a significant amount of weight. I've mentioned this in other videos, but at my heaviest I was 320 pounds. I've lost approximately 70 pounds. I'm hovering just above 250 pounds right now. I'm still working on losing more. I want to be able to say I've lost 100 pounds. Yes, I know I'm fat phobic. Okay, if you say so. That's going to be a video for another day, and I'm going to be vicious when I talk about that, by the way, because I was that, and yeah, I'll talk about that later. I don't want to get into a tangent. So my meals now are essentially beef and vegetable. On rare occasion, I will have some rice just to be a little different, and on rare occasion I'll change out the beef for chicken. I don't eat pork. I did at one point, but I refuse to anymore. Not for religious reasons or anything like that. I just think that, and again, I said this in other videos in this series, but it's a line in the sand, and it's a ridiculous reason. We all do it. We just have put different reasons in different locations for the line. But I don't think we should eat intelligent animals, and pigs are very intelligent. They're more intelligent than dogs are. So again, one of my lines. You can beat me up in the comments for that all you want. I understand it's ridiculous. Just understand that your lines are just as ridiculous, just for different reasons. So yeah, 99% of my meals are exactly the same every day, and I'm not sick of them. I don't get sick of them. I am smart enough to find or create enough variation. So, like for instance, one day I might have steak, one day I might have hamburger. I don't use breadcrumb or anything like that. Again, if I eat wheat, I'm not, what's the word for that? What is it called? I've completely, my mind just melted a little bit, but the allergy to wheat, the gluten allergy, whatever that's called, I don't have that, but it still affects my digestive significantly negatively for other reasons. So I don't eat flour, wheat, anyway. Going back to my farm for a second, I would not pesticide the crops. I would not put any chemicals on the crops. I would only medicate the cows and the chickens if they needed it for health reasons. I would not give them hormones or steroids or any other chemicals to help them grow more meat. And that, I think, would be my healthiest version of what I would live. So anyway, that's my idea of best case scenario as to what I would do. That way I can control all of the aspects, and also ensure that those animals have a good life before they are slaughtered. Because I think that is my conclusion from this video is exactly that. I think that we should respect our animals' lives more, especially if we're going to kill them at the end. You can make an animal's life as good as possible and then slaughter it, and I believe that the life you give it should still have meaning. So treat animals with respect when you're raising them, and I think a lot of the problems go away. So I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.